Welcome. Today we are doing a deep dive into the source material behind, well, one of the most foundational epics ever. The Ramayana. We're talking 5th to 4th century BCE. And it wasn't just telling a story, it was really laying down a moral blueprint. But the architect, Valmiki, his origin story is something else, almost hard to believe.
Oh, absolutely. And, that origin story is actually key to understanding the Ramayana itself. It set this huge framework for dharma, duty, ethics, how a king should rule across so much of Asia. But the thing is, it's not some dry academic text. It feels human because it was built by someone who really understood failure.
Yeah.
Intimately.
Exactly. That's the twist, isn't it? This revered figure, the Adi Kavi, the first poet, he started out as a highwayman, a bandit named Ratnakara. And his transformation isn't just some interesting side note. It's central to the whole message, redemption. So Ratnakara, he was out there in the forest robbing people, even killing. But his justification, at least in his own mind, was family duty. A really misplaced sense of it, obviously. He felt he had to provide for his wife and kids this way.
Yeah, he saw violence as just, necessary means to an end, until the sage Narada stepped in. So Narada confronts him, asks him this one seemingly simple but utterly profound question. He asks, are your wife and children willing to share in the karma, the spiritual weight, the consequence of what you're doing?
And that question it broke him, didn't it?
Yeah.
He runs home, probably expecting them to say, of course we support you. But no, he gets this absolutely chilling response. They basically say, no, we benefit from what you bring home, sure. But your sins, those are yours alone.
Total rejection of responsibility.
Right. He's out there murdering for them, supposedly, and they just wash their hands of the morality of it.
Yeah.
Is that meant to be like a setup, a moral trap?
I think it was the necessary collapse for him. His whole framework crumbled. And maybe that's why the Ramayana's framework feels relatable. It starts from that fundamental mistake, confusing what you think is necessary with what's actually moral. He's crushed, isolated. He begs Narada for a way out, for penance. And what's really fascinating is how deep his sinful ways ran. He literally couldn't pronounce the name Rama correctly.
The sound just wouldn't come out right.
Yeah.
So Narada, being incredibly insightful, gives him the only word he can manage, Mara, which means death or to kill. He tells him, just chant that over and over. And it wasn't just a verbal trick. Narada knew, I think, that the act of sincere, relentless chanting, even of the word death, would start the cleansing process. The effort itself was transformative. And slowly, Mara, 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 it naturally flips phonetically into Rama, Rama, Rama. He got so lost in this meditation, so still that anthills grew up completely over him, the Sanskrit word being Valmika. Wow, just covered him entirely. And when he finally emerges, completely transformed, spiritually reborn, he gets his new name, Valmiki. He who emerged from the anthill. Incredible.
A powerful image of rebirth, isn't it? But just becoming a sage wasn't the end point. His newfound spiritual depth needed an outlet, a voice. And that voice emerged, paradoxically, from intense grief. Shloka.
Right, this is the literary revolution part. So Valmiki's enlightenment doesn't immediately lead to bliss, but to this sudden burst of sorrow. There's this specific story. He's by the Tamasa River, sees a pair of conure birds, cranes, mating, and then a hunter, a nishada, shoots the male bird dead.
Heartbreaking. The cry of the surviving female bird just pierces Valmiki, and his empathy, his rage at the injustice spills out. But it's not just an angry shout.
No, it comes out as poetry. A perfectly measured rhyming couplet. 2 lines, 16 syllables each. Something totally new in terms of structure.
Exactly. And because it was born directly from that sorrow, from Shloka, this new poetic meter gets its name, the Shloka. This was huge. It basically liberated poetry, made it more accessible than the rigid Vedic meters. It became the meter for classical Sanskrit literature. Think about that, founded on a moment of grief.
And then comes the divine stamp of approval, right? As he's pondering this verse that just came out of him, Brahma, the creator god, appears.
Yes, Brahma confirms that verse, that was divinely inspired. It came from me through you. And then Brahma gives him the big commission. He grants Valmiki Divya Drishti, the vision of truth. This is like a supernatural insight, allowing him to see and narrate the entire life of Lord Rama, past, present, future, exactly as it happened and would happen.
And that vision becomes the structure we know today, doesn't it? The Ramayana divided into its 7 cantos, the cantos, the whole scope, moral, historical, everything. It's just amazing that these profound spiritual truths, this epic framework, came through a man who had been a killer.
That's what makes it so compelling, I think. The authority here doesn't come from some untouched, perfect prophet. It comes from radical transformation. It makes the epic feel deeply human, empathetic, you can connect with it because its author knew failure.
So what does this mean for you listening? Well, it suggests that this massive intellectual, spiritual framework for a civilization rests on this idea. Your beginning doesn't have to define your end. That maybe profound understanding actually requires grappling with failure first.
And it leaves us with a really provocative thought, doesn't it? If a highwayman, through sheer penance and transformation, could become the ultimate literary and spiritual voice, what does that really tell us about where true moral authority comes from in any society?